Hello, and welcome to this episode of our ASMR Minecraft long play series. It's very nice to see you. I hope you are doing well. As you can see, I collected a couple of things that will be of interest in this video, because today we are mostly going to be focusing on decorating our little cabin in the woods, as well as some gathering of more materials for said decorations. I hope you are relaxed already, or if you are not, I hope you can find a comfortable space to sit down, just listen to my voice and let your daily worries go. I'm relaxed, so I'm in the perfect space to deliver this content for you. I got my little notebook, I got my coffee. It's a rainy, grey afternoon here. I will have some more things to do today, but nothing that would stress me out. So I can be here for you and deliver the content just as relaxing as you like it. As you can see, before we get started with decoration, I am going to go against my nature, my own nature, and organize things a little bit, because things have been quite chaotic, and it's a nice thing to have a little bit of order and schedule and organization in our life. It's almost relaxing in and of itself, if you ask me. I hope it has some kind of similar effect on you. So I just took all the food to the kitchen, and now we have a chest with the seeds of different plants that we've collected so far, and we're going to have one chest with mostly wooden things, and another chest with mostly inorganic materials, including iron, copper, glass, and of course the different types of stones or bricks that we have as well. Some things that we will assemble, I will tell you about them, but let me make sure I got everything right. Let me use my notebook for this. It's almost like it has my entire life in there, and a couple of drawings, although they are part of my life as well, aren't they? I think it must be somewhere around here. Oh yes. So we are going to work on some windows using the Macau's Windows mod that are not just going to look nice, but will also be able to open and close them. For the windows, eventually, we'll also need shutters or curtains. Depending on how much wool we've got, we will craft some of those as well. I promise you it's going to look absolutely cute and wholesome by the end. We're going to add some more storage space. That's mostly for the area upstairs. I guess you could call it a bedroom, although there's not really a lot of rooms in this house. It's mostly just 2 floors and that's it. Nonetheless, we are going to add some cabinets there, courtesy of the Farmer's Delight mod. And then we're going to add some CIT decoration. If you're unfamiliar, You might remember that in the very first video I told you that CIT are essentially items that can take on different appearances when they are renamed in an anvil and they are placed in an item frame. And some resource packs, such as the one we are using right now, the Mizuno's 16 resource pack, specialize especially, oh that sounded strange, but specialize in this, that kind of cutesy, lovely, wholesome personalization that allows you to really decorate your house in a way that you would like to. We are going to be using, and I hope you forgive me, creative mode for this decoration, because as you might know, renaming things in an anvil costs experience levels. Right now we have got 10 of those, but we'll have more items. We'll definitely have more than 10 decorations in the house, besides the existing ones. Plus, we are not going to earn any unfair advantages from this, so you don't have to worry. I'm not giving myself any items or any experience for this. We're just going to use this to rename the items and display them properly. One thing that we will give ourselves are the item frames themselves. As you might know, it requires leather to craft the item frames, and we don't want to hurt any cows just for decoration. So that's the one thing we're going to, well, cheat, if you like. But then we're going to add a nice woven sort of small box, woven box of straw or some similar material, where we're going to store our secret items, whatever they may be. We are going to add some tools around the crafting table, because having a crafting table is nice, but we also need tools to craft with. So we're going to add those, and we're going to add some liveliness to the crafting table with a couple of planks and a hammer, so that it looks like we are working on it. Obviously, we are working on it. We're not just pretending. That's not why we want to make it look like that. But it's going to look better in general. We're going to add like a small barrel of fruits in the kitchen. You can say it's apples, you can say it's all the sweet berries we've been collecting and eating. By the way, as you can see, we are using this cutting board to get the bark off the wooden logs, and I'm not quite sure what you can do with the bark just yet, but I think it will allow us to make books, as in using the bark instead of leather, which is very nice because, instead of leather, which is nice because then we don't have to hurt cows to make books either. We are also going to make some herbs and spices, some hanging herbs and spices to liven up the kitchen, make some very nice foods with it, hopefully. And then the rest of it is going to be plants. As you might know by now, I have quite a few plants in my apartment in real life as well. Unfortunately, I don't know all of their names in English. I know I have some basil. I think that's the only one I know in English. But I have quite a few more. Some leafy ones, like thicker leaves that are okay with a bit of dryness as well. I have what's called a coral flower in Hungarian. It doesn't need much light, but it's still got very cute little orange and yellow flowers. Oh, we found some tea right there. Oh, that's going to be relaxing. Sitting on the porch or the balcony and drinking some tea, right? I have out on my balcony, no, it's not really a balcony, it's like a hanging corridor, but it can be decorated. So I have some red flowers there and some leanders. I know leander is the same in both languages, so I know that too. They're very tiny though. I just have quite a few because this lovely lady, whom I know, asked me if I wanted some leanders. I was like, yeah, sure. I'll gladly take one. And then she gave me 5. So now we are full of leanders. I might give some away, but until then, it's up to us to take care of them. In the same way, we are going to be taking care of some of these plants that you can already see in that chest or barrel, stored away for the later moment when we add all the decoration. They are going to be in pots, they are going to be hanging from the walls or the ceiling. I promise you it's going to be nice. I believe that's everything that we are going to add. Oh yes, one more thing that we'll need is a composter. Obviously, since we don't have skeletons in the night trying to shoot us with their bow and arrow, we'll need another means to produce bone meal to help our plants grow nice and strong and tall and delicious. So we're going to work a little bit in our garden today as well and expand the tilled soil, surround it with some fences to protect it from local wildlife, add some illumination, which I hope the plants will be grateful for, and of course add the composter, as I said. But first, still for decoration purposes, we are going to need an oak sapling. Now, that might sound very easy to get, and in the vanilla Minecraft it would be. However, in our modded version, because of the dynamic trees mod, trees don't drop saplings anymore. Or maybe very rarely they do, but very rarely. Instead they drop acorns and seeds and catkins and whatnot, which then we can use to craft a sapling with a bucket of dirt. If you ask me, that's a little bit more realistic, but it's also a little challenge that we have to overcome today. So what you can see now is me searching for an oak tree that we can cut down and hopefully get a sapling. It's a little hike. It's not a huge hike, like in the last episode. It's just something little to get our limbs moving, our joints oiled up. A little bit of exercise. In the meantime, while you see me searching, I think in the last episode we agreed that I would share some of my ASMR preferences with you. I actually find it quite interesting what different people like, and there's so many different kinds of content. Even for me, things changed over time. I remember very early on when I first discovered ASMR. I don't know what the first video was, but I watched very different content, or listened to rather, than the stuff I listen to now. However, they are all interesting, so I will tell you that my favorite is unintentional content, as in videos where the point was not to make ASMR. These can be interviews, lectures, presentations, walkthroughs in a museum, or maybe a nice cityscape, maybe even nature, just something where, oh, little chicken and turkey with an interesting group of friends. Anyway, so I like unintentional content. Not just unintentional content, but I think my favorite is that. I also like show and tell videos, almost independently from what is being shown and told. I just like the idea of something interesting. Oh, in the meantime I found some sugar canes as well, and some wild geese who were interested in our work here. But it doesn't even have to be very interesting. Anything can be talked about, really. And I think it can still be relaxing. It's funny, you remember in the last video how much we struggled to find some sheep. Oh, we should have just went into the other direction. They are right here. Furthermore, I also like videos that involve attention. This can be personal attention, as in some kind of an examination or similar, but it doesn't have to be. See, for instance, show and tell videos are, I think, relaxing because the person is paying attention to whatever they are showing and telling us. When they are showing and telling something, or I could even say when we are showing and telling something to others, we are invested in that subject. We are paying attention to that subject. And when we are paying attention to something, we can shut out and exclude the tasks, the stress, the daily worries, all that. So you could say that paying attention to something is inherently relaxing. Even if it's something extremely evident, like your environment, the sounds around you, my voice. All those things can be quite interesting and therefore relaxing. While I'm collecting some more berries, including some salmon berries that I found some way back. I don't know why they are called salmon berries. I suppose they must be because of their color. But maybe we can feed it to salmon. We shall test that. Anyway, so show and tell videos are... Oh, we finally found that acorn that we needed. But let me stop getting distracted. Show and tell videos are nice, but personal attention is also nice. So, for instance, again, a doctor's examination. Or a very good example is, even if it's not a proper doctor's examination, but different kinds of therapies. There is a modality called the Alexander technique, which is a method of improving many aspects of a person's life through improving their posture. And since it's something extremely gentle and subtle, and very small movements, very small adjustments, but it's still one person paying attention to another, helping them move in a certain way. Those videos are also extremely relaxing and soothing. Obviously, you need someone with a nice voice to be performing the videos, but they're very nice. I believe that's about everything I can think of that I watch or listen to these days. Some art descriptions, some examinations, and mostly unintentional content. Of course, unintentional content can be many different things, but it's usually something along the lines of a lecture, of a presentation or something like that. That said, I would love to share some channels with you. I don't know these people personally, I just enjoy their content. They are not sponsoring me. But I hope you can find them maybe as relaxing as you find me, maybe even more relaxing. Maybe it will be just something interesting for you as well. So, the first channel that I really like is called Yang Hai Ying. That is Yang Hai Ying. She's a Chinese lady, and that's her name. She lives in the US and is a teacher. And she makes videos about so many things. A lot of art, because she is an art teacher as far as I know. So museums, or calligraphy, or painting, of course, a lot of traditional Chinese calligraphy or painting, but also about a little bit of, philosophy and advice, a little bit about walks in a park or a nice city area, just about everything that happens in her life. And what I like the best about her is the fact that it's so original. I work on my thumbnails. I try to make my videos seem attractive, of course. That's not a bad thing to do, but she doesn't care too much about those things. She isn't trying super hard to produce something extra quality, and somehow that makes her videos that much better. It's the authenticity of it, I suppose. In the meantime, you can see I figured out that it must be spring, because we would see the color of the trees indicating if it was autumn or winter. And we saw that the wheat seeds we planted that grow in the summer or the autumn are in fact not growing, which means that it must be exclusively spring. So now I collected a couple of seeds that can grow in the springtime, and we're just going to blend them while also extending our little irrigation a little further. Irrigation ditch, I suppose. It's nothing sophisticated, that's for sure. Oh goodness, I think my voice is giving me a hard time. Let me drink some coffee. Goodness, that is so much better. Hey, you have some ASMR videos where someone is eating something 2 millimeters away from a high sensitivity microphone. Maybe me drinking coffee is going to be the next viral ASMR hit. I'm not planning on making such videos. Anyway, so Yang Hai Ying is one channel that I can definitely recommend. Then we have a lady called Nicola. I believe she also lives in the US or possibly UK. And her channel's name or title is Be Brave, Be You. She makes these high quality roleplay videos for, well, mostly ladies, but I think we can all enjoy them. And they are mostly examinations of different varieties, looking at the skin, looking at the joints as a chiropractor, looking at your scalp or your hair. I think she puts a lot of effort into making it seem authentic, which is, well, maybe strange to say, considering what I like about the previously mentioned channel is the lack of hard effort or try hard methods. But I do like both. And I really can say that Nicola's or Be Brave, Be You's content is something that's, I would call, quite high quality. have some channels that collect different unintentional videos and, well, make it available for you on one channel. One I can think about right now is called Find Calm. They have a wide selection of different unintentional ASMR videos, and you can really just check their channel like you would do a richly stocked grocery store. Find what you like best and listen to that video. Another creator, or I really should say artist, right? I mean, some of these videos have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. If that many people truly appreciate something, it can be very well called art. So another artist I've listened to recently is called SRP ASMR. He is an optometrist, an eye doctor, I believe from the UK. He's just got a very nice and soothing voice, and besides doing, well, eye health related videos, he also dabbles in games, including Minecraft as well. Quite a diverse content that his channel has. I believe that's about it for now, but please, if you have an artist that you really like, don't be shy to recommend them to me. I would love to check it out. Maybe some of my recommendations will be your next favorite, so it can work the other way around. Now you can see we are fencing up our little garden, and illumination is important. I think even more important in this mod pack that we are using, but I can't be sure if there's any changes around how plants react to light. But I didn't like this torch design, it just felt very basic, so I'm instead going to use lanterns. I know that lanterns have a higher light level as well, so we will be able to see better. And the plants will appreciate it more maybe as well. I know that the Serene Seasons mod makes it so that you can grow just about any type of plant in any season if you cover them with glass, like in a greenhouse. But I don't know if light comes into play, and if it does, how. So we better make sure that it's illuminated. Maybe I really would like to later on build a big greenhouse, if we find the necessary space for it, and maybe light conditions, right? It doesn't make much sense to build a greenhouse in the middle of the forest where there's not much light. In fact, I think that the Dynamic Trees mod also has some measures to control the growth of trees, depending on how forested the area already is. If you have a lot of trees already creating a lot of shade on the ground, then you won't have as many plants and new trees growing. The competition is too great, you could say. So if we plant any saplings or acorns or anything like that, we should make sure to plant them under clear skies and hoping they can grow up to be a big strong tree. In the other world I'm playing my own little personal survival world. I think my first big project after the house was a big, huge greenhouse. That is a centerpiece of my home base ever since. So don't worry, you're in the hands of a professional greenhouse builder. We're going to build something nice. Okay, in all seriousness, I'm not a professional, so just make sure your expectations are mild. Still, if we're going to build a farm or something similar, it's definitely going to involve a greenhouse, as well as other, maybe more specialized buildings I'm thinking of. I know there are mods, I haven't installed them yet, but there are mods for specialized bakery and winery blocks, as well as some other similar buildings, even though the contents somewhat overlap with the currently installed mods. So we'd have about 3 different types of grape. They are still so cute that I'm considering installing them. We'll see eventually. We still have a long way to go until we have to install new mods for more content. We still have a lot of things we can find into. As for more buildings, or maybe not just buildings but other decoration and farm related, farm themed constructions, besides the greenhouse we'll definitely need many more flower or crop beds around the area. Let's see. I believe we have a mod or an extension for the Farmer's Delight mod installed that allows us to ferment certain things and to make different fermented drinks, as well as special cheese and maybe some other dairy products as well. So we should probably build something for that with some barrels, and I don't know what else we need. We'll see. Right now, as you can see, I'm just switching to creative mode and then discarding of the anvil immediately, because we don't want to use that to any unfair advantage. However, we are going to rename many of these objects here so that they look nice and decorative for our little cabin. The windows and the shutters don't need to be renamed, since they are modded items anyway. But as you can see, typing fern _0 _top makes it so that the fern is actually a hanging plant that can be mounted on a ceiling, or rather it can be added into an item frame that's on the ceiling, and it looks perfectly in place. Finally we can also make use of the oak sapling that we worked so hard for. I don't know what we need to get more acorns and saplings. I might look that up after this video. Obviously we don't want to be responsible for any deforestation, so we'll just try to do our best in repopulating the area with trees. I know that, or I don't know, but I think there are new blocks in the dynamic trees mod as well, such as rooted soil or rooty soil, and some other blocks that perhaps make it easier for us to grow trees. We'll have to look into that. Obviously, if we are building a farm related to all sorts of plants, trees shouldn't be an exception. So we'll try to add some more trees in the area, hopefully jungle trees or acacia trees that we don't yet have here. We have birch, oak, spruce and dark oak around the area. Mostly spruce and dark oak though, so we can plant some more birch and oak trees as well. As well as fruit trees, of course. There are fruit trees in some of the mods. We're going to begin our home improvement session with the windows. As you can see, if I click on a certain side of a block, that means that the window can be hinged on that side and opens on the opposite. As you can see, that works perfectly well. These shutters can be opened, slid to the side. And I think in general it's very nice. We could have mounted the shutters on the outside, of course, as well. There are such models, I know. But on the outside we currently have lovely pink tulips growing, so I would like not to disturb them. And we'll just mount the shutters on the inside of the house. It is, after all, inside decoration that we are focusing on in this episode. We'll definitely need something to cover these windows here, because obviously if you're trying to sleep here, I don't know about you, but for some people a lot of light can be quite distracting. Now that slides into the wardrobe next to it, but that's okay. So, since we have such lovely moonlit nights here in this forest, it's important that we can also cover the windows right above the bed, so that it doesn't shine into the beautiful moonlight doesn't shine into our beautiful faces when we are trying to sleep. I know some people who can't sleep even if it's not shining on them, but whenever there's a full moon, forgive me, whenever there's a full moon, they can't sleep anyway. I am fortunately not like that, but I suppose that can be quite exhausting. I hope you don't deal with that either. We're going to install some shutters on all the windows. We don't want anyone peeking at our little plants here, but for now they can stay open After all, it's good to have some light when we are working on the crafting table, not to cut our fingers or some other accident. I'm also going to make some curtains, which I think is going to be much better fitting for these windows up here above the bed. And also, isn't it such a wonderful thing to do when you wake up and you open the windows, open the curtains, and the lovely, beautiful world outside just greets you with some birds chirping and beautiful sunshine. As you can see, we can just right-click here onto the curtains and change their shape. I think it's quite a nice feature. That would be nice to have in real life as well, wouldn't it? Just my curtains, in fact, don't slide very easily from side to side. They get caught, unfortunately, on the bar. So just right-clicking or waving in their direction to change their shape, that would be nice. Well, I'm not complaining. I'm not one for having the absolute maximum comfort in all areas of our lives. I think that can make us lazy. And when it's about something that you have to work for, it takes away the feeling of satisfaction and success at the end. We've talked about this in previous videos, that accomplishing something difficult or tedious can earn you a lot of satisfaction and just sense of success, sense of accomplishment. We don't want that taken away. Even if it's just cleaning up the apartment or the house. It takes some time. Maybe it's a bit tedious. Maybe you have to climb into some weird spaces below the desk or something. Maybe you have to check the woven basket on top of the wardrobe, as we just placed there, and wipe the dust off of very high places, very low spaces. But in the end, I think it does feel nice. Maybe you are doing some crafting. You're using some hammer and some planks, right? It also gives you a sense of satisfaction when you have created that object that you've been working on. Maybe you're using another hammer and a chisel, or maybe that's a screwdriver. Maybe you're cooking something, like using a basket of apples here, or like a small barrel, I suppose. Making some apple pies or apple jam. Maybe you're cooking something with a little bit of garlic, freshly picked from the hanging vine in your kitchen. All of these things, a lot of satisfaction. And if we have that taken care of easily, maybe someone else does it for us. Maybe we buy a machine for every single purpose. I think that eventually takes away as much as it gives. Oh, that's not how it's supposed to look. Of course, what you can see is the item frames are invisible, which allows us to place these decorative, lovely objects without, of course, the item frame disturbing the view. that can lead to some strange situations, like you will see in a couple of minutes, where I don't know where I accidentally placed the item frame. And I just keep clicking around trying to remove it. Okay. That is turning out to be beautiful, if you ask me. Oh, I believe it was here. I tried to put it on the stairs, but it would be placed otherwise. And I couldn't find where. So I'm just punching everything, trying to find an invisible object. I didn't finish the topic of what else we're going to build. But yes, besides the greenhouse, the new flower beds or crop beds, which we're going to need both, of course. We'd like to grow flowers and crops. I think we can make a basement where we can grow mushrooms as well. I think that would be quite cute. Nice and overgrown with moss. Lots of vines coming down on the walls. I can already see it. We can also build a bigger composter, maybe an automatic redstone composter. I built that once, but I'm not one for redstone at all. It's like rocket science for me. So I might have to look up some tutorials or check my other build to find out how to do that. Oh, that's so nice. I like hanging plants. I don't have any of those in real life, but don't they just look amazing? Perfect. Since we are in the forest, and we already have an abundance of different berries, we can also build a little shop where we make different kind of jams or syrups from the berries. If we can ever bring some villagers here, we can say it's a nice little store where people come for handmade jams and syrups and fruit juices. That would of course require growing the berries too, but I think we'll be just fine doing that. I was about to finish my decoration when I realized that there's one more thing we need, without which my life is not complete. And that is my notebook, which is supposed to be represented by that sheet of paper beside the bed. And right now I'm just showcasing all the beautiful decorations that we have built, before realizing we could add a couple more things. We have enough wool for carpets, not for the entire house, but we don't really need it downstairs in this area that's mostly for working and crafting, eating as well, but you know, we walk around here very often, coming in from the forest, from the garden. We don't want the carpets to get muddy or something, so I believe it's enough if we just put some carpets upstairs in the, well, you could say bedroom. Of course, we can't forget our, I suppose, signature. If someone ever comes around here while we're not home, they can know that this lovely place was built by us. Unfortunately, those rounded logs, which are round because one of the mods, don't allow the sign to be visible. So we're going to put this above the door here. Froghead 2024. It is now our legacy. As you can see, I added some more items to the bookmarks that we're going to need. After closing off the recording, I realized we could do some more. What you can also see there, and I think what renders any space very homely and cute and just comfortable to be in, is a light string. Just a string of little lamps hanging on the ceiling or on the wall. And while that's possible with one of the mods, fairy lights, unfortunately it requires a lot of iron, and I don't have that kind of material just yet. So perhaps that is for the next episode. I don't want to make every episode about decoration, even though I love it very much, and we'll definitely have more footage of me just putting different items on the walls and the floor and the ceiling. I think in the next episode we can do a couple of things. We can extend the garden a little bit. We can just go on a bigger hike to get more materials, which would include visiting some deeper caves as well. Maybe we can find some interesting structures in those caves. We could also possibly go visit the village that we have found in the last episode when we were looking for sheep. Maybe try to make some trades with the villagers, earn some emeralds. I think eventually it's going to be a nice project to just enhance that village, you know, build new, bigger houses, different, maybe a town square, maybe a marketplace, maybe a church. That all sounds like a good project. However, for now we're going to focus on our little base. We could possibly also extend the storage area, because right now it's just 3 chests, these wardrobes, and the cabinets in the bedroom, in the kitchen, I'm sorry. I did put some cabinets up here in the bedroom as well, but we'll need to figure out a way to organize everything. Here I'm just thinking about what would be the best way to decorations, such as at least a flower next to the door. And since I realize I don't have enough material, again, we just set out to get some more. Well, if we dedicate the next episode to gathering more stuff, then we'll just have all that in our chests. We won't need to do that again. Since sheep are so scarce around the area, I think it would be very useful to find an abandoned mine shaft as well. If it's full of spider webs, we can make a lot of, well, wool or silk, whatever you'd like to call it. But the idea is that we could use that for more curtains, more carpets, and maybe another bed if we really like. I think it's going to look better if we put that chair there so we can sit down on this beautiful scenic balcony and the lovely company of all our flowers. That is, after all, where we say farewell just about every time. And that is where we say hello as well. So better make that look nice. I hope those flower pots can be filled up again one day. We'll make sure not to waste them. I think many Minecraft players can resonate with this, but even in real life I really don't like wasting things. If it's food, especially. But, oh, hello horsey. But I think many people are familiar with the sort of dead meme, as in memes about fathers, where they just, when they craft something, they just put everything to the side. You know, if it's just a piece of wood, who knows? It might come in handy sometime in the future. Well, I am also like that, even though I'm not a father. But you never know. I also like to save packaging, like paper bags, paper boxes. But I have an excuse for that because I have successfully reused packaging before for Christmas presents. Sometimes I have to wrap it up in some more paper or work a little bit on it to make it look more presentable. But you don't need to buy a new box, which is often expensive and is usually just thrown away anyway. Well, unless you give it to me, because then I save it. But you can just wrap up some old paper box, maybe put some ribbon on it, and it looks very nice and presentable, I believe. Of course it's different in Minecraft where food doesn't go bad. So we can just make infinite amounts of whatever and store it for the difficult times. Flowers don't wilt. The squash and the squash seeds that we just found are usable forever. But I think it's nice to have a little bit of that mentality in real life too. As you can see, I've just been looking for some dandelions for the carpets, but since I can't make enough carpets to color them in the more efficient way, we are just going to color the wool like that and then make some carpets out of that. Like this, we used 2 dandelions to get 6 yellow carpets. I think with the other method we could color 8 carpets with 1 yellow dye, 1 piece of yellow dye. But we're not going to have a problem with that. I promise you we'll get more of everything in the next episode. Yes, that synergizes perfectly with the bed. Even though we have some pink flowers outside, I think it's going to be quite nice to also make the decoration around the yellow theme. I also realized that we can make even my notebook a little cuter and not just the sheet of paper by renaming a sheet of paper in the anvil using CIT once again. It's actually interesting because after I created this video, I checked the catalog for CIT items and I realized that the catalog I had bookmarked was an old one, an old version, and by now there are even more very nice items available for us to use. Oh, now that's nice. Well, now we have a beautiful bedroom, a beautiful crafting area, lots of plants, nicely enhanced kitchen with some herbs and spices, and the finishing touch is going to be this one little potted dandelion next to the door, so that we have something nice greeting us when we come back. Of course, not to mention we have a very nice balcony from where to watch the sunset or the moon on a romantic night. As the last thing today, I'll just plant some of these cones and catkins, trying to find some sunlit areas so that the other trees allow these little saplings to grow up. With all that said and done, I'd like to thank you for joining me again for this video. I saw that my Hungarian videos have taken off somewhat. If any of you are responsible for that as well, I sincerely thank you. I believe one of them is over 220 views. It makes me quite happy. Thank you. I can only hope that I can reach some more English-speaking people with this content and help them relax the same way Hungarian-speaking people can relax to the other videos. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Please feel free to leave a comment about your ASMR preferences, about which I'm very curious. And I believe I will see you in the next video. We'll just have a look at what we have created so far, but I will say goodbye now. Have a lovely day, night, evening, whatever it is where you are. Goodbye.